WNBA free agency is officially underway, Annie. So when you see these names and the options that the Sky have, what do you think that they're cooking up?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because Angel and Camilla are very interesting pieces. And when you're talking about, getting the right players in here, there is intrigue when you have young core pieces like that, because you could be part of developing them and developing towards a title contending season. But the reality is the Sky are still very far from that.
Angel Reese promised a powerhouse in Chicago. She declared she was building something special, a WNBA dynasty. Turns out so far, it's looking more like a ghost town in free agency. WNBA free agency is officially underway, and for the Chicago Sky, it was supposed to be a chance to finally build around their young stars, Reese and Cardoso. But what unfolded is less a dream team in the making and more of a, well, let's just say it's a disaster of epic proportions.
You don't get told no. Like, you're going to get the yeses. You're going to get more yeses than nos, and just being able to know that. So I'm excited for that. I know that's going to come soon.
The whole city is obsessed with you.
I know. I love it
all
here.
The time.
I feel like Baltimore here. I love it here. It does.
Kind of. A little bit. A little DMV action.
Yeah.
But Chicago is the number 3 market in the country.
Really?
It's New York, LA, and then Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago, y'all have everything. I'm not gonna lie, y'all have everything here. Like, it's nothing here that I'm like, oh, I gotta go to a different city for. Like, everything has been here, which I love.
The confidence was undeniable. Angel Reese sat down, microphone in hand, and with all the swagger we've come to expect, proclaimed she was going to build a powerhouse in Chicago. She oozed confidence, even arrogance, suggesting players would be lining up to join her. You don't get told no, she said, implying Chicago would be a magnet for top talent. You're going to get more yeses than nos. Fast forward to now, and the reality couldn't be more brutally different. Free agency has been in full swing, and Chicago's roster remains as empty as a deserted stadium. The top free agents? They didn't just say no to the Sky, they practically laughed as they hung up the phone. Not a single all-star has been convinced to join Reese's supposed revolution. While other teams across the league are loading up with championship-caliber players, Chicago has been left scrambling, desperately searching for answers in the echoing silence. Free agency was meant to be Reese's moment, her chance to prove her star power extends beyond social media and actually attracts winning talent. Instead, it's turning into a painful public humiliation. Could this be the ultimate sign that players around the WNBA simply aren't buying what Angel Reese is selling in Chicago?
Like Angel Reese and Camilla Cardoso, too, have brought relevance to this team that they've desperately needed in a time when, again, if not for them, they'd be completely irrelevant because of the product that they're putting on the floor.
And also make Chicago an attractive spot when you have Angel Reese and Camilla Cardoso right there, 2 bigs that really shined in their rookie season.
Every woman should be able to step in and be able to go into a locker room and be able to have a safe space, or go into a gym at 3 o'clock in the morning when they want to do that. So I want to be able to just invest.
The silence from free agents has been deafening, but it's not just about who didn't come to Chicago. It's also about who the Sky actively pushed away. In a shocking move, the Sky front office didn't even extend a qualifying offer to their leading scorer from last season, Kennedy Carter. Let that sink in. Your leading scorer is shown the door during a crucial rebuilding phase. The message to the rest of the league was chillingly clear. Chicago isn't serious about keeping its best players, let alone attracting new ones. General Manager Jeff Pagliocca offered some corporate speak about changes to the roster and giving Carter the best opportunity as a free agent. But let's be real. This reeks of dysfunction. It suggests a front office that's either incompetent, completely out of sync with their star players' vision, or both. And those trade rumors that were supposed to bring in some much-needed talent, they vanished faster than smoke in the wind. It's almost as if the moment Reese tried to sell the super team vision, free agents couldn't run away fast enough. This isn't just a minor setback. It's a flashing neon sign screaming, "Stay away from Chicago."
So, lads, this is not great news, for the Chicago Sky, who are a team that obviously, look, they're rebuilding. This is a team that is 100% rebuilding. The problem is they don't own their pick. So, if the Chicago Sky run it back, they're probably not making the playoffs next year. Look, I think there's going to be an improvement from Angel Reese. I think it's going to be an improvement from Cardoso. But that team with no Kennedy Carter, it's going to be real tough to get any offensive power.
The Indiana Fever are that golden destination, and I can't help but laugh to the fans and the people online and the media commentators, unfortunately, who said that nobody wanted to play in Indiana. That doesn't make any sense.
And where did all those top free agents actually go? Everywhere but Chicago? It's like watching a masterclass in how to build a winning team by completely ignoring the Windy City. Kelsey Plum, the sharpshooting champion, is heading to Los Angeles. Jewel Lloyd, a Chicago native, had the perfect opportunity to return home and play for her city, and she bolted straight to Las Vegas instead. Brittany Griner, the dominant center, is joining a potential super team in Atlanta. Alyssa Thomas, the triple-double queen, is now calling Phoenix home. Notice a pattern? These players didn't just avoid Chicago. They actively chose teams with clear direction, stable leadership, and a genuine chance to win championships. Teams where they could thrive, not get lost in whatever mess is brewing in Chicago. Jewel Lloyd, a Chicago native, chose to chase rings with Aja Wilson in Vegas rather than team up with Angel Reese in her hometown. Ouch. That's not just a rejection, that's a public humiliation for the Sky and for Reese's supposed magnetic pull.
So, not a good day for the Chicago Sky. Not a good day at all, because we have heard news from the journalist who reports on the WNBA, and because she is not a homer like a lot of the other people, like normally journalists are complete homers for one team. One of the actual credible journalists reported on something. Sky fans aren't happy. They all want her fired.
Just trying to give myself some grace because I know I'm not the player that I want to be just yet, but also kind of patting myself in the back, telling myself that I'm still doing great.
But perhaps the most stinging blow of all came from the Indiana Fever. While Angel Reese was busy failing to recruit anyone, the Fever were quietly, effectively, and ruthlessly building a legitimate title contender. They pulled off the ultimate off-season heist, bringing in battle-tested veterans like Natasha Howard, Dana Bonner, Sydney Colson, and Sophie Cunningham. They even had the audacity and the brilliance to steal Brianna Turner, Reese's own teammate, right from under her nose, and as if that wasn't enough salt in the wound, they re-signed Kelsey Mitchell. Indiana, a team many wrote off just a year ago, just went from a promising young squad to a legitimate title threat overnight. And Chicago? They stood still, watching their rivals get stronger while their own roster crumbled. The Indiana Fever, once a laughingstock, are now the golden destination in the WNBA. The irony is thick enough to choke on. Remember when everyone said nobody wanted to play in Indiana? Turns out they just didn't want to play in Chicago.
Kennedy had an incredible season for us last year, says the GM. She's extremely talented and is a player that can impact the game at the highest level in our league. We absolutely appreciate all she did for our team last year. However, we've made changes to our staff and we'll make changes to our roster. Those changes impact Kennedy's fit on the team, so we wanted to give her the best opportunity as a free agent.
So it's just been great being able to see my impact on and off the court, and not just in sports, but just being able to be a cultural impact as well has just been great.
So, what's really going on in Chicago? It's starting to look like a dumpster fire behind the scenes. Reports suggest the locker room chemistry is as chaotic as a reality TV show, and whispers point to Angel Reese herself potentially being at the center of the drama. We're not saying it's definitely her fault, but the rumors are persistent. Gabby Williams, whom Reese reportedly tried to recruit, allegedly said, "Thanks, but no thanks." Even Kennedy Carter, before she was shown the door, didn't exactly hold back her thoughts on the team's culture, suggesting it catered to a few players. And it gets worse. Did you know that the Chicago Sky's current practice facility is reportedly like practicing in a high school gym compared to the state-of-the-art facilities other WNBA teams boast? And their highly anticipated new facility, it's not expected to be ready until 2026. In a league that's exploding in popularity and professionalism that feels like a decade away. Then there's their on-court performance. Remember when the Sky were playoff contenders? Last season, they collapsed harder than a cheap lawn chair, finishing with their worst record since 2020, after adding a supposed generational rookie in Angel Reese. Turns out, hype doesn't win games.
Is Angel Reese, did she just run a coach out of town, and is she running a player out of town? Their best shooter out of town? Because Kennedy Carter looks like she's ready to book it out of Chicago.
Let's talk about the three big names you got to know. Alyssa Thomas, Natasha Cloud, Brittany Griner. Let's start with Brittany Griner, joining Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard in Atlanta. Dream team? Brittany Griner was drafted to Phoenix in 2013, so it's kind of about time, and I'm so excited to see what Atlanta turns around this next season because they really need her. Phoenix is also losing Natasha Cloud and Beck Allen, along with the number 12 pick overall in this year's draft to Connecticut. Connecticut is giving up the triple-double queen, Alyssa Thomas, and Ty Harris.
And here's the brutal truth, the reality check that might sting the most for Angel Reese. For all the talk about her star power, the numbers don't lie. The WNBA's biggest draw isn't Angel Reese, it's Caitlin Clark. Game night in Chicago, when the Sky play anyone else, seats are emptier than a high school study hall during summer break. TV ratings? Let's just say you'd have better luck finding a blockbuster hit on public access television. But the second Clark and the Fever roll into town, suddenly it's standing room only. The contrast is embarrassing. Reese defenders might point to her double-doubles, her rebounding prowess. Sure, she's collecting boards, but when it comes to collecting fans, well, not so much. The Sky's attendance numbers tell a story, and it's not exactly a bestseller. And what about Unrivaled, the much-hyped 3-on-3 league where Reese was supposed to showcase her star power? The viewership numbers are in, and they're barely registering a pulse. Less than 100,000 viewers tuned in for Reese's games. That's not a typo. The league that was supposed to be a game changer is looking more like a forgettable side project. Unrivaled, more like unwatched.
According to WNBA Insider, that Illinois native Jewel Lloyd will not be going to Chicago Sky. And obviously they didn't keep Kennedy Carter. And it's looking like one player, obviously, that's been in Chicago across her careers because of her Illinois roots, is Seattle Storm guard Jewel Lloyd.
And I can't help but wonder, is that what happened here? Is Angel Reese and the way she wants to play, and I don't know if you've ever noticed her social media post, but she's very me, always. I, me. Well, you may have a player that has decided that she's had enough of that.
But let's step back for a moment and look at the bigger picture of Angel Reese's place in the WNBA. There's no denying her marketability. She's a social media sensation. Endorsement deals are flowing, and she undeniably brings attention to the league. But is Chicago prioritizing brand building around Reese over actually building a winning basketball team? It's a question worth asking. Are the Sky management so focused on capitalizing on Reese's off-court appeal that they're neglecting the fundamental requirements of on-court success? Attracting top talent, creating a positive team culture, and building a competitive roster? It's almost as if the flash and hype surrounding Reese are masking deeper organizational issues. Are they sacrificing long-term success for short-term buzz? Because in the cutthroat world of professional sports, hype only gets you so far. Eventually, you have to win games, and right now the Chicago Sky look further away from winning than ever. Is the Angel Reese brand overshadowing the actual basketball team, and is that ultimately hurting both Reese and the Sky's future?
Well, now, jealous WNBA players will have the opportunity to earn that credit. Now, players like Angel Reese, they will be given the chance to test their star power.
Yes, it is unrivaled. It is also unwatched. Look, let's be honest, we can sugarcoat it all you want, but if you don't have Caitlin Clark playing women's basketball, or if you're not the NCAA tournament playing women's basketball, you got nothing. Zero zip, nothing.
So where does this all leave Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky moving forward? The pressure is immense and the odds are stacked against them. Can Reese, with a largely unproven and frankly underwhelming roster, actually turn things around? Can she silence the critics, prove her doubters wrong, and lead this team to respectability, let alone contention? It's a monumental task. Or is this free agency disaster a sign of things to come? Is this the beginning of a downward spiral for both Reese and the Sky franchise? Will the weight of expectations, the locker room drama, the lack of supporting talent, and the organizational instability prove too much to overcome? The upcoming WNBA season is now more than just games on a schedule. It's a referendum on Angel Reese's career trajectory and the future of the Chicago Sky. The basketball world is watching, waiting to see if this supposed powerhouse can rise from the ashes or if this free agency fiasco was the first domino in a much larger collapse. The clock is ticking, and for Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky, the stakes have never been higher.
Throughout the year, WNBA players were demanding to be given credit for elevating the league. Angel Reese claimed that she was along with their pretend friends in the mainstream media. They wanted us to believe that the WNBA was exploding in popularity. They wanted to keep all the credit for themselves while downplaying the impact of the only star in the league, Caitlin Clark.
According to league sources, Weatherspoon had lost the locker room because of a culture that catered to the needs of a few players. Dear Lord.
So what does all of this mean for Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky? Pressure, mountains of it. With no big-name free agents coming to rescue the situation, Reese is going to have to back up all that talk, all that swagger, with actual on-court dominance and yes, maybe even some team wins. Can she actually become the face of the league she claims to be destined for? Or is she about to be left holding an empty arena, flipping through TV channels, wondering where her audience went? The Chicago Sky free agency disaster isn't just about one team's failures, it's a harsh reality check for the entire WNBA. A single player, no matter how hyped, doesn't build a championship team. It takes smart front office decisions, elite facilities, a winning culture, and right now Chicago is failing spectacularly on all three fronts. As the new season approaches, all eyes are on the Windy City. Can Angel Reese actually elevate the Sky out of this mess, or was all that talk just empty noise? Is her WNBA career heading for an even bigger flop than her free agency recruitment tour? Are you ready for the Angel Reese train wreck? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen and we will see you in the next one.